I did realize that I could record videos off my phone and then upload them onto YouTube. So that makes things a lot easier because I can record thoughts that come to my head. Because sometimes well, not sometimes, often I have a lot of ideas on what I want to share. And then I say, oh, well, it's going to be tough to remember all this. And I try to write it down and try to get everything, and I have a list of ideas to share, but sometimes I don't capture everything. And so I figured I'm just gonna kind of go stream of conscience and see what flows. And so as I'm, kind of settling for the night, I've been paying attention to the election, obviously, and the um, I guess, enthusiasm or the increasing support for Donald Trump, and that I guess, the coalition, and really pay attention to this coalition of Trump supporters and how it's changed. Because in 2016, it was really just MAGA and maybe some reluctant Republicans who voted for Trump. And now what you have is you have MAGA, maybe reluctant Republicans, maybe not, but then you have traditionally liberal types who are, and I mean almost liberal in the classical sense, in terms of like freedom of speech, free market, the type of Western ethos that has generally prevailed. Um, and definitely it is in opposition to communism. And so it's not just, you know, conservatism and communism. I mean, it's a lot more nuanced than that in terms of political ideologies. And there are shared values between conservatives and liberals, and that's what's creating this kind of new coalition for Trump supporters. Is you have conservatives, but you also have more classical liberals who maybe are more, well, liberal in their view towards same-sex marriage and towards, I guess, morality in general, but they also are strong proponents of freedom of speech, free market to a certain extent. Maybe they're okay with welfare state, but what they don't want is this level of government control that is a possibility under an Harris administration. And so there is this coalition. You're starting to see it with Robert Kennedy, who endorsed Trump, and then you also have Tulsi Gabbard, who endorsed Donald Trump. And Tulsi was a Democrat. She was in the she was a candidate in the presidential race, and so she's Democrat. Same with Robert Kennedy, but they've joined with Trump because of because the shared values on freedom of speech. I guess the shared classical liberal principles that most Americans, or a bunch of Americans, see are being eroded due to this progressive ideology that's seeped into our institutions. So, anyways, that's a long-winded statement to explain what I'm getting at. Because basically, this video is just called Bittersweet, and the and maybe Bittersweet's not the best because there's first a sweet element to what's going on, and it's refreshing to see how many people are recognizing the state of America, are recognizing that their liberties and the things that they hold dear are in jeopardy, and that there is a regime, so to speak, that is marching forward, looking to completely upend the freedoms we've had. And it is totalitarian, it is anti-democratic, it is anti-liberty, anti-freedom, and it is a scary thing. And we're starting to see some of that in European countries where people are being prosecuted or charged, at least, for not going along with gender ideology and affirming someone's gender. And those are definitely possibilities in the United States. Not right now, because we have a pretty robust First Amendment law and we have Supreme Court willing to adhere to that, but that can change, get a different makeup of justices, and the freedoms we hold dear will no longer be held to us. They'll be taken away. So, anyways, what am I getting at? Well, there is a great, it brings me a lot of joy in a certain way to see this coalition of people uniting around the American ideal and wanting to achieve it or protect it and defend it against this onslaught of, I don't even want to say communism because that word gets used so much, but it probably is, but almost this onslaught of tyranny and control. And it's refreshing to see this, and it's from all different aisles, and it's interesting to see from different um, from professors to academics to scientists. There's this unity of, hey, things aren't right. There is a control going on. There's some concerted effort to control us, to take away our liberties, to change the American ideal. That we're going to stand up to it, and it is wonderful to see. However, at the same time, my joy is limited because I know that a lot of people in this coalition, I'd say a lot of Trump supporters, aren't doing the next step of repenting, of surrendering to God and letting God take over. And a lot of these people are fighting for the old America so they can continue to persist in sin, that they can support ideologies or lifestyles that are contrary to God, such as same sex marriage, such as abortion, such as promiscuity or norms surrounding sexual conduct. And, there are people in this MAGA coalition that have no issue with those things. They just say, hey, it's the person's right. They can do whatever they want to do. That's no issue to me. Or they might not even think it's a big deal. And so that's the problem is, while we have a coalition of people who are wanting to fight against this tyrannical takeover, they're not making and doing the extra step of repenting and giving up their beliefs and ideas, the wrong ideas, the wrong ideologies, and embracing God and being willing to acknowledge that their ways are not right and coming to God in a broken heart and a contrite spirit. And so while it is great to see, my joy is only limited because I know that even with a Trump presidency, that's not going to change the country around because people aren't repenting. And so until we repent, until we come unto God, until we turn from our wicked ways, we have no hope. And we have no expectation that things will be better. They might be halted a little bit. Things might be kept at bay with the Trump presidency. I don't know. I definitely think it would be better than with Kamala for sure. But things will be kept at bay, but it won't change. There's no way that we are going to have a resurgence of the American ideal when we haven't repented and turned to God. And so it's bittersweet. There's some sweetness in this camaraderie and seeing this coalition of people from different ideologies and viewpoints coalescing to fight against tyranny, so to speak. But then at the same time, whether those people are really wanting to repent, to change their ways, and being willing to do that is yet to be seen, and it's highly doubtful. And so how much Trump will be able to save America is highly questionable. And so all we can do is just be grateful for the tourniquet that will stop the bleeding, but that won't completely end it.